بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم. الاسم الكامل الأستاذ فهد المزرعي، المؤسسة الثانوية التأهيلية موسى بن النصير، المديرية مراكش، الأكاديمية الجهوية للتربية والتكوين جهة مراكش أسفي، المستوى السنة الأولى بكالوريا، الوحدة السابعة، المكون التعبير الكتابي، عنوان الدرس formal letter. Hello everyone. Today we are going to focus on writing. Specifically, we are going to talk about formal letter. Before we get started, we'd like to see first what's the difference between formal letter and informal letter. Formal letter normally is written to people you don't know. And the purpose could be, for example, to complain about something, to apply for a job, to reply to a formal letter you have received from someone. Informal letter, it's usually written to people you know. I insist on this. Here you don't know, here people you know. The purpose could be it is written to tell someone about your holiday, to say thank you for a birthday present, to write to friends or family who might live a long way from you. So these are the basic differences between formal letters and informal letters. Let's see together what is the layout of a formal letter. I would like you to take a few minutes, read the main components of this formal letter, and try to name each component. We have different ones: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We have 9 basic components of a formal letter. Okay? Let's see these elements together. As you see, the first element should be your address. You should write your own address here. Next, we have the date. And the date usually have a specific format, like the one you see here. We don't write, for example, write 1/1/2010. No, we should write the complete dates. Next, we have the receiver's address. The receiver's address, the person you are writing to. And we have greeting, or what we call salutation. Dear sir or madam, we are going to see basically 2 types of salutation. And this is the introduction. And the body. And the main body, as you see here, we have 2 paragraphs. Then the conclusion, it's part of the body. Then we have the ending, yours faithfully. We're going to see 2 types of endings and why we use each. And the last one is the signature. And most of the time it's indicated by writing your full name. So this one, we call it the recipient's address. Okay? And this is the sender's address. After talking about the layout of a formal letter, the style of a formal letter has also some specific characteristics. For example, it should not be personal. The style of a formal letter should not be personal. Next, you need to give information in the shortest, clearest way possible. Be, as we say, brief and to the point. and you should use language that is businesslike but clear. Remember, these are the key features of the style of a formal letter. In the components we talked about, I'm going to explain a little bit about salutation or greetings. Some people prefer to call it salutation, others say greetings. Why do we say dear sir or madam? And why sometimes we say dear Mr., for example, whoever? We say dear sir or madam if you don't know the name of the person you are writing to. So this is the main purpose. If you don't know the name of the recipient. We say dear plus a title, Mr. or Mrs. or Miss or Ms, depending on the person you are writing to, plus his family name. This is a title. Mr. is for a man, married or single, we don't care. And Ms, M-S dot, it's for a woman, single or married. Why do we use this structure, or basically this style? If you know the name of the person, okay? Use the title Mr., Mrs., Miss, or Ms, or Doctor, etc. And the surname only. Surname, we mean family name. If you are writing to a woman and don't know if she uses Mrs. or Miss, you can use Ms, as indicated here, which is for married and single women. The content of a formal letter, as you saw before, we have the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. In the introduction, it is basically a short introduction that states the purpose of the letter to make, for example, an inquiry, a complaint, or request, or to request something. There are different purposes. And here you have to be very brief. The body, it could be 2 to 4 paragraphs, depending on your purpose. It contains the relevant information. Most letters in English are not very long. So keep the information to the essentials and concentrate on organizing it in a clear and logical manner rather than expending too much. So avoid too much blah, blah, blah in your letter. You have to be very precise, clear, and to the point. The conclusion is the final paragraph. In this paragraph, you are going to basically talk about suggested actions to be taken. You are expecting the recipient to take certain actions. Closing remarks, express understanding, promises, etc. The last component of a letter is ending a letter, or the one before the last. Sometimes you have this structure, yours faithfully, and sometimes you have yours sincerely. There is a slight difference between the two. We use yours faithfully if you don't know the name of the person. And you use yours sincerely if you know the name of the person. Your signature, sign your full name. I insist on this one, your full name. Don't write just your first name, no, but you should write family name plus person name, or person name plus family name. Now we move to the practice part. I want you, please, to take a couple of minutes at home. Write a letter. Of course, it's a formal letter of complaint to your school director about littering. Littering is throwing rubbish everywhere. Include in your letter some suggestions that may help in preventing some students from littering in your school. Put differently, you have noticed that your friends at school throw rubbish everywhere, and you want to write a formal letter to your school director to suggest some possible ways to prevent those students from littering. Take your time to brainstorm ideas and try to remember the main components of the letter. When you finish, please, I want you to use this checklist. Here's the checklist for a formal letter. You should ask yourself these questions. Did I include my address? Did I include the date? Did I include the receiver's address or the recipient's address? Did I include greetings and closing? Did I state the purpose of my letter? Did I check my spelling mistakes? Take some minutes to check your spelling mistakes because we tend to make mistakes, sometimes unconsciously. Did I check my grammar mistake? Pay attention to the singular, to the plural form, etc. And is my style formal? What I mean by formal, did I respect the pieces of advice I talked to you about in the beginning of this lesson? Thank you so much for writing your letter and for using the checklist to edit your formal letter. Goodbye.